And the biggest problem is the lack of formal support, not only for the individuals themselves, but also for their families. We found serious gap in healthcare, both in physical and mental health, and often a sense that people are treated less than human. That's why I feel that spreading unverified information in such a sensational way is quite harmful and in fact dangerous, because it shifts attention away from the real issues.
Welcome to the Metautism podcast, where we're diving into the vibrant world of autism and championing inclusive education and employment. Join us as we explore innovative strategies, share inspiring stories, and analyze groundbreaking initiatives that celebrate differences and advocate for a future of equal opportunities. Let's get started. Hello. How are you? Welcome to another episode of Metautism podcast. I'm your host, Klara, and today I'm really excited that I'm speaking with Matea Begić Alić. She's currently pursuing her PhD degree, and she's also assistant at the Faculty of Education and Rehabilitation Sciences in Zagreb, Croatia. She's also doing amazing research work, and she's currently focused on quality of life of autistic adults who require higher levels of support. Recently, our Green ASC VET Metautism team met with Matea in Dublin at the 14th International Autism Europe Congress. So we will see and hear from Matea more about her work, but also what it was like being on this fantastic Congress. Matea, it's good to have you here and welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I'm very glad to be here and very joyful to have this conversation with you.
Why don't you introduce yourself a bit to us and let us know how did you get into this field?
Actually, it was very natural for me because from the primary school, I was volunteering with children with special needs. It was on different artistic workshops, and I really liked it there, and it was very fun for me, and it was sort of natural. But from the secondary school, I was thinking about I wanted to be a dentist. And I was in cahoots with my dentist. She was giving me different books. I was reading dental books, but I also volunteered during the time with children with special needs as well. And when it was time to go to the university, and when it was time to take my entry exam, because I'm from Karlovac, I was traveling with a train, and my train broke and stopped, and I didn't manage to go to the faculty at the dentistry school, yes. So my second choice was Faculty for Education and Rehabilitation Sciences, and I immediately got into the faculty and never looked back. I fell in love with the faculty, with autism, and I stayed there.
I guess it was really fate for you to do this. And why don't you tell us more about your research topic? Or actually, you went to Dublin to the Congress and you presented your paper titled Perception of Quality of Life in Autistic People with Intellectual Developmental Disorder. Could you tell us what the research problem is and what's actually at the core of this paper?
Yes, that's right. We were in Dublin together with my mentors, Professor Jasmina Stošić and Professor Sanja Šimleša. I presented a qualitative study which focused on the quality of life of group that is often overlooked both in research and in everyday life, and they are autistic individuals with higher support needs. I would just like to explain the term higher support needs. When we say that, we mean on people who, even in adulthood, cannot live and cannot take care for themselves independently, and they need assistance that usually comes from either informal sources, family members, especially mothers, or formal sources such as supporting living communities or daily programs. And given the complexity of the topic, we wanted to get a more complete picture. So we spoke with different stakeholders who are part of the lives of autistic individuals. So we spoke with mothers, with professionals, and we managed to speak with 2 autistic individuals themselves. So we asked them about what they see as positive in their lives, what they find challenging, and what are their recommendations for improving their quality of life.
So what do you see as the main challenges?
It really stood to us that there are many, many challenges that autistic people face, but not also autistic people, but their families, and they do it every single day. Sadly, there are still far more difficulties than positive aspects of their lives. And the biggest problem is the lack of formal support, not only for the individuals themselves, but also for their families. So we heard from our participants about very limited housing options and support for independent living, too few daily programs and not enough help with finding and keeping jobs. We found serious gap in healthcare, both in physical and mental health, and often a sense that people are treated less than human. It was also very striking for us, the heavy weight on parents' shoulders, especially on mothers' shoulders. And they take care for their adult children full time, and even as they grow older and face their own health issues, they don't get support they need. We found a lack of clear crisis protocols and proper professional help for challenging behaviors, which are often linked to mental health or sensory difficulties, and overall a deep sense of social isolation and exclusion from community life.
Those are quite big challenges, and unfortunately not only one person or one institution can, let's say, work on improving that, and it should be like a big effort from many organizations, many people, and so on. So how do you suggest, or how can we address some of those challenges?
Yes, Klara, you're right. There isn't a quick or simple fix. It's about changing the whole system, so we don't forget people with higher support needs, and we don't forget their families. But some steps that could make a real difference include developing respite services, so the parents can have time to rest or recover, knowing that their adult children are safe, well cared for, and they are engaged in meaningful activities. That is also very important. Also, creating more supported living programs with different kinds of housing options to meet different needs, expanding daily programs, and offering real opportunities for employment, along with the right support in the workplace. One very important thing would be to train healthcare professionals to better understand and respond to both physical and mental health needs of people with autism, autistic people, and to treat people with dignity. It would be very important to set up a centralized system where a family can find information about their rights and actually access the services they are entitled to. Establish clear protocols for crisis situations, for example, when a caregiver becomes ill or when there is a serious behavioral or mental health crisis. And what would be also very important is to build opportunities for people to take part in their local communities, to feel included, to feel connected, and to feel valued.
Yeah, and when we're speaking about quality of life, this was actually this year's topic on the 14th International Autism Europe Congress, quality of life, research, policy and practice. And how did you like everything that was explored at the Congress?
I liked the conference a lot. I found it quite interesting and inspiring. Especially because there were so many participants from different backgrounds. There were researchers, there were professionals, and also autistic people themselves, and even some who have two roles, one of researcher and professional, and the other of autistic person, which brought very valuable perspective. Also, I would like to mention something practical but important, and that is the Congress app, because it made it it easier to navigate the program and find our way around different menus where sessions were held. And that attention to accessibility really stood out to me as a positive example of inclusion in action.
Of course, and everyone from the Green ASC VET Metautism team wants to know how was their performance. Let's rate it. Let's hear it. I heard that it was a very warm and welcoming atmosphere.
Yes, I was and still am quite impressed by Green ASC VET. Because it's innovative, modern, and what is most important, very practical, because it provides concrete, hands-on materials that can help improve the education and employment opportunities of autistic students, but not also autistic students, but also every other student as well. And these are exactly the areas that our own research has shown need urgent improvement. So seeing the project addresses them in such a tangible way was really very encouraging.
Now let's touch upon a bit of current politics. As we know, US President Donald Trump says that mothers who used Tylenol during their pregnancy are the reasons for having children on the spectrum. What's your opinion on that?
I believe that claims like these should always be backed by strong scientific evidence. I'm not a medical doctor, and I don't specifically study the effects of Tylenol on mothers or on children and people with autism, but I looked into the scientific literature and I couldn't find any evidence to support such claims. That's why I feel that spreading unverified information in such a sensational way is quite harmful and in fact dangerous, because it shifts attention away from the real issues we should be focusing on that we heard about prior, and the ones that can genuinely improve the lives of autistic people and their families.
Oh yeah, unfortunately, everything he does is very scandalous. But now let's see what's it like working at the Faculty of Education and Rehabilitation Sciences. What's it like to meet new people, new students, and see their perspectives over there?
I like that part the most, working with young people and young students, because everyone who comes to our faculty is very motivated because the quote entering quote is low, 50 students. So each of those 50 students is very highly motivated. So I find it very encouraging and I'm very happy when I work with students. It's every year is very fun and new in some way, and we always do something different. So I like it a lot. It's great.
And for many Croatian guests we had on this podcast, many said that place they got the first proper diagnosis was at ERF, your faculty. So do you work in that area, or is that some other part of the faculty?
I'm not in the diagnostic process, but we have a clinic on our faculty, and they do diagnose children, and they have some part of early intervention as well. So I don't know, parents can call, they can book an appointment, and in some time, I'm not sure what the waiting list is, but they can get a proper diagnosis.
You've been for several years now on the faculty, and you saw several generations, or you crossed paths with several various generations. And what are their perspective? What are their interests? What future educators, rehabilitators are interested in?
It seems to me that the interest for autism is growing, which I'm very glad. I think that they would like to work in early intervention with young children. There is also some interest in opening private practices, which is also okay because it gives options to parents and to children. So yes.
And how do you see yourself in the future? Is there something else you're interested in, or are you still being focused on quality of life?
I would like to finish my research for quality of life of adults with autism and with higher support needs. It's also the theme of my doctoral dissertation. So the big chunk of research is ahead of me. This is not all we have. We will have more information and more data. And after that, I would also like to focus on the school system. I think that school is an area that needs great improvement.
Yeah, you can elaborate on that. Feel free.
It's a big topic, and not only for autistic children. Our educational system, I think, is not adapted to any of our children. We need to make some structural changes, and we need to we need to be modern, and we need to follow the direction of our society. I think there is a lot of work ahead of us in that department. I could talk about it for I don't know how many hours.
Maybe you can highlight one or two areas of school system that you think really needs an improvement.
I think that there should be smaller and more individualized classes. We should have more expert assistants. I mean, in that more psychologists, more speech and language pathologists, more special teachers, or as we say in Croatia, educational rehabilitators, so they can provide full support for different children with different needs, and also to provide support for teachers as well, because our teachers need to be more educated on different needs of the children and not just be focused on the curriculum itself, in short.
And lastly, of course, what advice do you have for your students, or actually maybe even future students who will be the future and who will make future advancements in this area?
One advice that I would like to have for our future students is to just be brave and courageous, enroll in our college and do changes in their local communities, because change in the local communities means global change as well in the long run. So don't be afraid and do the best you can with what you have.
Okay, thank you, Matea. It was so good to have you here.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for this opportunity, because I think it's very important to connect the research and the public, because it facilitates really changes in the society, which we know we need.
Amazing. Once again, thank you. And of course, thank you to the Erasmus Plus program of European Union for funding this project. All opinions are our own. And of course, thank you, dear listener viewer, for tuning into this episode. And of course, subscribe on your favorite watching or on YouTube or your favorite listening platforms. And until the next time, bye-bye.